Hello, everyone. 45 minutes today for the SI joints, also known as the sacroiliac joints. So first of all, where the heck in our body are we working today, right? So where we're working is the center of the back of our pelvis. So a couple things to say about this area. One is that there are two really large joints on both sides of the back of your pelvis with a centered bone in the center called your sacrum. So these joints basically are on either side of the sacrum. Now, the really interesting thing about this area of your body is it is the crossroads, as they say, of our entire body, because these two gigantic joints have to take all of the load downward of your body. But at the same time, it's important for them to be mobile and strong, because as you step on each and every leg when you walk, you have to take the load also up those joints. So because of that reason, oftentimes the SI or sacroiliac joints can become dysfunctional. Now, the two most common problems that we have with the SI joints is they get stiff. And when they get stiff, they create problems usually in the low back, and you have back pain, not SI joint pain, or you get problems in the hips and you have hip pain, but not SI joint pain. So it's important for us to look at working through the back and the hips when we're dealing with the pelvis. But the key thing that we're going to be working today is when you've had a strain or a sprain or some sort of lack of strength to those SI joints. So that's our real key focus for today. How can we strengthen and stabilize through the back of our pelvis, which is where all the load comes up our legs and all the load goes down our spine? So that's what we're going to do today. So what you need for class is a bolster. You also need a yoga block and a yoga strap. Now, with this yoga strap, what I want to mention real quickly is for those of you that are yoga practitioners that have that deep low back pain that tends to be more in the pelvic region and not in the low back region, sometimes using a yoga strap can work as a sacroiliac belt to create stability. So I wanted to show real quickly how you would do that. So just imagine, if you could, like it was just a normal belt, any sort of belt that you have in your closet, as long as it's big enough to get around your pelvis and not your waist. What you can do if you're dealing with strength issues, weakness in those SI joints, is as long as you bring that belt low enough on your pelvis, you can actually cinch up a yoga belt so tight that it's going to create some stability for you to be able to practice your yoga to add the strength to that area. Now, I'm not going to practice today with the belt around my pelvis, but if you are at home and you know that you have weakness in two key muscles that we're going to focus on, your latissimus muscles, which come from your upper body, and your gluteals, where you have weakness in both of those muscles, then maybe try at some point doing something like this little belt around your pelvis when you practice any sort of moving of your legs or twisting or rotation of your hips and your trunk. All right, so find yourself in a seated position. Now, I am choosing a straddling position today, because if you really do have inflammation and pain in your SI joints, typical tailor sitting, where you sit with your legs rotated outward, can actually be quite painful and inflammatory to those joints. And so in order to avoid that end range of rotation through the hips and therefore those SI joints, sometimes a really nice, good alternative is just to allow yourself to not put those joints in their end range. So we're going to focus a lot today with not doing a lot of rotation unless our hips, our pelvis, and our back are all doing the exact same thing. So find yourself in a seated position, maybe a tuck or tilt of your pelvis to find a nice, good, neutral position. Get your spine nice and long. And then let's start with doing a little bit of lengthening of our latissimus muscles in the seated position, since we're going to be working on strengthening our latissimus muscles in just a second. So take your hands, bring them out to the side, and take a nice deep inhale. Lift the hands up overhead, interlace your fingers. Once you have your fingers interlaced, take a deep inhale here, and then on the exhale, just gently side bend over to the left. Now, as you're side bending over to the left, make sure that you don't rotate downward, so turn that armpit up. Now, in this position, take a nice deep inhale, lengthen through the spine, and this time, as you exhale, tuck your tailbone under. You'll feel that latissimus right as it crosses the low back and the pelvis area. Stay right here. Take a deep inhale in as you keep that tuck under. And then as you exhale, relaxing here. Very good. Now on the inhale, lift the arms and the trunk back up. And then on the exhale, just bring the arms down. Maybe shake the shoulders out a little bit. And then let's repeat that on the opposite side. So inhaling the arms up overhead, interlacing the hands together. And then once you have them there, I like to point my index fingers up, not a requirement, but just do whatever you feel comfortable with. Then take a nice deep inhale, lengthen your spine high. And then as you exhale, side bend over to the right. Now focusing on that left latissimus muscle. Now in this position, take a deep inhale, lengthen through the spine. Make sure the armpit is pointed up and you're not rotated downward. And then on your exhale, tuck your tailbone under. Yes, that is your latissimus. That arm muscle goes all the way down and literally attaches to your tailbone. So keep that tailbone tuck under. Feel that stretch of your latissimus here. Nice deep inhale into your belly, into your rib cage, wherever it's the tightest, and then exhaling out. Then inhale, lifting the arms back up and exhaling the arms down. All right, now here's what I want you to do. I want you, and I'm going to turn myself so that I'm lengthwise on my bolster, but I want you to sit on the edge of your bolster with your legs gently straight in front of you. Now, if you've got significant tension in your hamstrings, staff pose, which is where we're working towards, may not be something that you can do at the very beginning of a yoga class. So if you need to, use a yoga block and place it underneath your legs so that you're not in end range tension of your hamstrings. Do what feels best for you. But we are actually going to work on strengthening our latissimus dorsi here. That big, gigantic muscle that starts at your shoulders, comes all the way down your back, all the way into those SI joints and ends at that tailbone. Now, this is an easy exercise to do, but it's difficult to get a lot of strength. But I want us to give it a try so that we've got something simple and easy to do if we don't have any exercise equipment at home. So with your legs gently straight, your spine nice and tall, take your hands and make fists. Place your fists on your bolster, then turn your hands inward. Imagine like you're twisting your thumbs inward towards your hips so that the thumbs are pointed inward towards your hips. All right, so straighten your elbows. That's your triceps. Now here's what I want you to do. Tighten through your abdominals. Take a nice deep inhale and literally try to lift your pelvis off of the bolster. That are your latissimus dorsi muscles, ladies and gentlemen. And then relax and bring it back down. So even if you don't fully get your pelvis off of the bolster, that you're attempting to lift your entire body, you are strengthening down through that muscle and creating stability to that SI joint. Let's give it a try 2 more times. So fists, turn the thumbs inward, straighten the elbows. All right, here we go. Nice deep inhale in, lengthen the neck, settle the chin. Take a nice deep exhale and lift your body high off that bolster. You've got it. And then relax down. Relax the arms. Fists sometimes are a little bit difficult on your fingers. And then let's try it one more time. So hands next on the bolster. Once you have yourself there, turn the thumb inward. You need that internal rotation. It's part of the action of the latissimus dorsi muscle. Then straighten the elbows, get the triceps out of the equation. Take a nice deep inhale here, and on your exhale, bracing, lift your body up, holding it here, and then lowering your body down. You've got it. So a very nice and simple exercise that you can do to strengthen, believe it or not, the SI joints, even though what you think you're using is a shoulder muscle. All right, so bring yourself up onto hands and knees. As you bring yourself up onto hands and knees, just move your bolster out to the side. We're going to be using it again in a second. Let's do some cat-cows just to kind of waken up our spine. So bring your knees hip distance. That's 2 fists between those knees. Allow yourself to stack your hips directly on top of the knees and look back and check in that your feet line up with your knees. Now, nothing we do today is going to be with doing a lot of rotation through our hips or a lot of rotation through our trunk, because if we did have an irritated SI joint, that could potentially make us painful. So just stack your elbows and wrists directly underneath your shoulders. Index fingers are forward, thumbs are inward. Lengthen your neck, settle your chin. All right, let's go through 3 nice good cat-cows here. So as you inhale, sink the belly, lift the tailbone, allow that rib cage to drop, lengthen through the front of the neck, squeeze the shoulder blades together, and gaze upward. Then as you exhale, pull that belly up and in, tuck that tailbone under, really curl that rib cage under, lengthen the back of the neck, chin to chest, gaze into your belly button. Inhaling, sinking belly, sinking rib cage, lifting tailbone, lengthening neck, and lifting head. Exhaling, pulling belly and abdominals in, curling under tailbone, curling under rib cage. Really spread those shoulder blades, lengthen the back of the neck, chin to chest. One more time here. Inhaling. And exhaling. Then slowly coming back to the center position. All right, now let's do a nice little lengthening again through our latissimus muscle. So stay in your hands and knees positioned. Take your right hand and reach as high up to the right or to the left side of your mat as you can without feeling like your body rotates or your hips kind of wag out to that right side. So see how far you can go in this position. Then take a nice deep inhale, and as you exhale, tuck your tailbone under, sit back as far as you can. It's not that far, ladies and gentlemen. So just sit where you can. Now, your muscle is in a lengthened position here, but your abdominals are engaging, tucking your tailbone under. So here's what I want you to do. Imagine with your right hand that you're trying to pull your right hand back towards your right knee. As you do that, you engage that muscle and you're creating strength to that muscle in a lengthened position. Just keep the tailbone tucked under. Let's keep our abdominals engaged. Pull that arm back towards that right knee. Holding that contraction, take a nice deep inhale in and exhaling out. Let's do that one more time. Nice deep inhale in and exhale out. Then using the triceps on the left arm, push yourself back up, relax your abdominals, find that pretty hands and knees position again. Okay, left hand, reach it up, but don't let yourself wag your tail to the left. Let's try to keep everything as much in neutral as we can today, but just see how high you can get that arm up. Then once you're there, take a nice deep inhale, and on the exhale, tuck the tailbone under, put the length in the latissimus where it counts today, and then just gently sit back until you feel a little bit of lengthening. Allow your neck to be long, your chin to be settled. Now, with the left hand on your yoga mat, start to pull it back. You're engaging the muscle, but there's no movement. So that's called an isotonic contraction. So it's like you're trying to pull your hand towards your left knee. Keep your tailbone tucked under. You will feel the contraction of that muscle. Hold it right there. Take a deep inhale in and exhale out. And one more time, nice deep inhale in
and exhale out.
Beautiful. And then bring yourself back to hands and knees. Now let's settle ourselves down to a child's pose just for a few minutes to give our wrists a break here. So take a deep inhale in, and then on the exhale, tuck your tailbone under. Really slowly sit yourself back into your child's pose. Belly onto your thighs, chest onto your knees, and then just gently drop your elbows down. Crown of the head comes down onto the floor. Check back in with your toes. Make sure you haven't dropped them inward. And then just take a slow, deep inhale into your belly, which allows you to get some nice, beautiful length through your low back, those SI joints, and your gluteal muscles. Deep, slow inhale in. And then as you exhale, just gently relaxing outward. Nice, slow, deep inhale in. And as you exhale, slowly relaxing outward. You've got it. All right, gently bring yourself back up into hands and knees. Grab that bolster and place it where your wrists are. Once you have it where your wrists are, first and foremost, make sure we're going to be moving our legs behind us. So make sure there's nothing back there that you're going to kick. Once you found yourself in that position, stack the hips directly on top of the knees. Those ankles line up behind you. Have the bolster so that you're in the position that the wrists are directly underneath your shoulders, and then drop your elbows down there. So I just want us to really make sure that we're strengthening nice and through the gluteal muscles here, and you're not fatiguing through the wrists and not getting the gain we need for those SI joints today. So allow yourself to rest on your elbows, fingertips are pointed straight forward. Make sure you're not collapsed through your shoulder blades. So push and engage through your shoulder blades, lengthen your neck, settle your chin. Take a nice deep inhale here. Then as you exhale, tighten and brace through your abdominals. Now, with your right leg, just simply slide the right leg back straight so that the knee is straight. Once you've done that, take your eyes and look back at your left leg and make sure that it is still perpendicular with the floor. Once you have that nice tight abdominals, take an inhale and lift that leg up. Do not let your back arch. So you've got to keep those abdominals contracted so that it's those gluteal muscles that connect to that SI joint that you're really strengthening right now. Lengthen the neck, settle the chin, hold that leg up, squeeze through the glutes. Give me a nice deep inhale. And then as you exhale, drop that leg down. All right, let's try it on the opposite side. So elbows are still resting. Make sure you've got some contraction through your shoulder blades. Lengthen your neck, settle your chin. Take that left leg, slide that leg out. Once that left leg is slid straight out, look down at the right leg and make sure that it is perpendicular with the floor. Bracing through those abdominals, guys. Take a deep inhale here. And then on the exhale, lift the left leg. Do not let your back arch. There is no stability to the SI joints doing that. So keep that back nice and straight. Just lift that leg where you can. Then take a deep, strong inhale, squeeze through the glutes, exhaling here, and then slowly lower that leg down. All right, one more time on each side. Let's do it. Right leg, slide it straight out. In that position, lengthen the neck, space through the shoulder blades for me. Take a deep inhale, exhale, embrace, and really get a good contraction through your abdominals. Then take an inhale, lift that leg. Do not let that back drop one bit. Exhale, holding it here. Now on this inhale, really squeeze through your glutes. And then on your exhale, drop the leg down. One final time, left side, let's do it. So leg straightens out first. Check in that the right leg didn't fall out to the side. Space between the shoulder blades, lengthen the neck, settle the chin. Take a deep inhale, exhale, tighten and brace through your abdominals. All right, inhale, lift that left leg. Don't let that back drop. Holding it there on the exhale. Now on this inhale, can you add a squeeze to those glutes? Create that stability to the SI joint. And then as you exhale, drop that knee down. Beautiful. Bring yourself back up onto your hands and knees. Take a nice deep inhale here. And then as you exhale, tuck your tailbone under, sit back into your heels. Slowly let yourself start to fall down into your child's pose. Now, really good glute work we just did, and there's more to come. But let's take a couple of really nice, slow, deep breaths to open up through the glutes, the SI joints, and the low back in this position. So belly to thighs, chest to knees, elbows drop down, crown of the head, just gently place it onto the floor. Take a nice, slow, deep inhale into your belly. And exhaling out. Slow, deep inhale into that belly. And exhaling out. Beautiful. Now, gently bring yourself up. We're going to use the bolster at the end, so don't take it too far away from your mat. But grab your yoga block and have it somewhere near the side of your yoga mat. Then allow yourself to also grab your yoga strap. Now, what I want you to do is turn yourself over onto your side for a moment. Before you go onto your back, I want you to tie and or use your cinch strap and or use your D-ring around your legs. So what you're going to do is take it and simply put a nice big knot in it if you want to, or you can take the time to use your cinch strap and get a nice good tight bind around your legs. Now, why are we doing this? Well, we are about to set up to do some nice good gluteal strengthening with some bridges. And when we're thinking about the SI joints, it's real important for us to really engage all of our gluteal muscles and our stabilizers to that SI joint. So the ability of us to push our legs outward and contract into something while we're bridging will really guarantee that we're getting just the most excellent contraction and stability to those joints. Once you have yourself wrapped up, and I have it about hip width distance, lay down through your side and then roll yourself over onto your back. Now, once you're on your back in this position, take the knees up to the chest, hands around the shin bones. Nice deep inhale in. And as you exhale, pull your knees into your chest. So good little stretch here, but also a time to check in. Do you have that band tight enough around that thigh area that those legs are basically bound together or tied together? Deep, slow inhale here. Then as you exhale, pull the knees into the chest. You've got it. Just take one nice, slow, deep inhale into your belly. And then exhaling out. Wonderful. Drop the feet down onto the floor. Once the feet are down onto the floor, find your yoga block. So we're going to do assisted bridging today. That's going to guarantee us for the first round of bridging that we are using the glute muscles we want and not all hamstrings. So take your yoga block in its flattest position and allow yourself to lift your hips up and place the yoga block on top of the SI joints. So make sure that you're on your bottom area, you're not into your low back area. Then lengthen your neck, settle your chin. Once you have yourself in that position, today what I want you to do is see if you can engage the latissimus dorsi muscle at the same time as we strengthen through these glutes. So take your arms down and out to the side, and then turn your thumbs downward. So that's internal rotation. So that your palms are down and the thumbs are even a little bit more down. Now start to push your hands into the floor. You will feel that shoulder and muscle engagement. Now, in this position, keep the arms engaged and begin to push out into that yoga strap. That's one of the hip muscles we need. Now, arms are engaged, pushing out into the yoga strap. Take a deep inhale here. Exhale, engage and tighten through your abdominals. Brace through your abdominals. Final group of muscles to engage. Take an inhale and try to lift the pelvis off of the yoga block. Knees are gently trying to go towards the toes. So here's what I want you to finally do. Take a deep inhale. Now squeeze the glutes as much as you can. You're creating so much stability to that pelvis and around those SI joints right now. Check in. Is your neck long? Your chin settled? Are you pushing downward into those thumbs into the floor? Are you pushing outward into the yoga strap? Are you lifting your pelvis? Are you squeezing your glutes? Do you feel any burning right now in your glutes? Take one deep inhale. And then as you exhale, slowly lower back down onto the yoga mat. Now just let the knees relax for a second. The strap's not going to go anywhere. But I want us to take a nice slow stretch of that area before we repeat it again. So stay on your block unless you don't feel comfortable staying on your block, and just gently bring your knees to your chest. Now, one good thing about doing what we're doing right now is it does push fluid out of those SI joints in that sacral area because you've got something pushing against it. However, if you're painful in that area, having a block underneath your sacrum can be a little bit uncomfortable. So just take it away for a moment if you need to. Lengthen your neck, settle your chin, take a nice deep inhale here, and then on the exhale, pull the knees to the chest. Deep inhale into the belly, and exhale out. Then gently taking the knees away from you, carefully dropping the feet back down to the floor. We are ready to do it all over again. So arms down beside you, turn the thumbs downward. So palms down, and then just kind of a little bit of an extra rotation to turn those thumbs down. Lengthen the neck, settle the chin. Start with pushing into the hands and thumbs first. All right, now that you got the latissimus engaged, yoga strap, push out into it. There's your outer gluteals. Keep pushing out into it. Take a deep inhale. On the exhale, lift your pelvis. All right, brace through those abdominals all at the same time. Finally, take that deep inhale. Exhale, squeeze through those glutes. Tight, 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 squeeze through those glutes. Can you inhale and hold here, pushing into the arms, pushing out into the knees, squeezing the glutes, lifting the pelvis, and tightening the abdominals all at the same time? Now, that's some serious work. And then slowly lower down, gently move the yoga block out of the way. Once you move the yoga block out of the way, we're going to use it again at the very end of class. So make sure it's still somewhere in arm's reach. But bring the knees up to the chest and unloop the yoga strap. All right. So as you're unlooping the yoga strap, make sure you don't poke your eyes out. But once you've got the yoga strap unlooped, place it beside you. We are once again, going to be using it one more time. But then just gently take those knees to your chest and give yourself a nice good rock. Kind of massaging out those gluteal muscles that you just strengthened, but really allowing yourself to push fluid out of the way if there is any inflammation in those SI joints. And then resting in the center, taking a nice deep inhale. And as you exhale, pulling the knees to the chest. Lengthen the neck, settle the chin. Take a deep inhale here. And exhaling out. Slow, deep inhale into the belly. And exhaling out. All right, we are about to get into an incline position using our bolster. So before we do that, for those of you at home that maybe have some insufficiency in your lower abdominals, let's do a quick exercise here to make sure that you've got those abdominals turned on. So take your knees and place your knees so that they're forward of your hips. Drop your heels down. Hands, place them on the front of the thighs. Check in that there's just a light, gentle arch of your low back. So your low back is not being forced down onto the floor. Lengthen your neck, settle your chin, and begin to lightly push the hands into the thighs as you try to lift your hands upward, all at the same time. You'll feel those muscles down there begin to contract. Feel that beautiful shaking happening. That's what you want In fact, the absolute goal is to see if you could make it through that shake. Allow yourself to take a deep inhale into your belly. Keep pushing keep pushing up to the ceiling. Exhale out. And one more breath for me here. Nice deep inhale in. And exhale out. Beautiful. Knees back to the chest. And then allow yourself just to roll over onto your side and bottom elbow, top hand, push yourself up into a seated position. Now, careful to not literally really splay your legs if you do have SI issues, because that can irritate you. But I want you to set up for the last group of exercises that we're doing for our latissimus muscles and our gluteal muscles. And what I want you to do is take your yoga block and place the yoga block at the end of your yoga mat, and then place the bolster on top of that yoga mat. Now, here's where it gets complicated. That yoga strap that you have, I want you to loop it into the loop of your yoga strap, of your yoga bolster, if you can. Now, if you're practicing at home with cushions or something like that, just place the yoga strap down and beside the yoga block. But for those of you that have a bolster, this will ensure that it doesn't come up and pop you in the head. So once you have yourself set up in that beautiful position, just place the yoga straps out beside you. That's going to be for strengthening that latissimus muscle. Allow yourself to turn to your side and rest the sacrum and those SI joints right next to that bolster. Now, knees bent, hands to the side of you. Take a deep inhale, and as you exhale, gently lower yourself down into that incline position. So basically what we're making here is an incline bench. All right. Keep your feet where they are right now. We're going to engage through our gluteal second, but let's make sure that the apparatus that we made for our latissimus dorsi actually work. So take your arms and straighten your arms, turn your thumbs down. And as you do that, allow yourself to pull those arms down. Now, it's going to lift the bolster up a little bit, but that's A-okay. In that position, keep the hands down towards the floor, pull those shoulder blades back, and you should be able to feel that connection to your lower back and your SI joints. All right, so that's step one. Let's get step two. In this position, start with your ankles directly underneath your knees. Brace through your abdominals. Take a deep inhale, and on the exhale, contract and brace through your abdominals. Then take an inhale and lift your hips. You can lift them nice and high right now because your rib cage is elevated. But as you do that, push your knees up and over your toes. So don't let yourself arch so high that you don't feel your knees going over your toes. So in this position, what you're trying to do is get your shoulders and your knees to stay in alignment, and just take that entire pelvis and lift it up off the floor. All right, keep that pelvis lifted off the floor. Squeeze through the glutes. Grab that strap. Make sure those abdominals are engaged. That's why we practice it. Turn those thumbs down. Push those hands down. Pull down towards your hips. Oh, now we're stabilizing some SI joints. Can you lengthen your neck, settle your chin? Take a deep inhale here. And exhale out. One more time. Nice deep inhale in. And exhale out. Relax the contraction through the arms. Gently drop the pelvis down onto the floor. Now, we're going to do that 2 more times. But I am going to give you the option, if you're strong enough, and you really, really want to get a nice strong SI joint, to try to do the bridge with a single leg. I'll show you how it's done. So just keep the strap where it is. Don't engage through your latissimus just yet. Brace through the abdominals. Take an inhale. Lift that pelvis up. Now, once you've lifted that pelvis up, nice and simply, to do a single leg bridge, squeeze through the glutes. And can you just lift one leg up in the air?
If it's too difficult, keep those feet on the floor and just squeeze through those glutes. Now, turn those thumbs down, push those arms down, pull towards the hips. Keep yourself right there. Squeeze the glutes of the abdominals. Take a deep inhale in. And then as you exhale, drop the left or right leg down. Lower your pelvis back to the floor. I promise just one more round and we're done. Okay, so brace through the abdominals. Take an inhale and an exhale as you brace. Then take an inhale and lift the hips as the knees go over the toes. Stay there if you want to. Want to make it harder? You're going to lift the right leg this time. So really squeeze through the glutes, really tighten through the abdominals, lift that right leg up. Can you hold that all there? Then hands, turn the thumbs down, push the hands down, pull the arms towards the hips, holding that contraction. Take a deep inhale in and exhaling out. And slowly lower the right foot down and the pelvis down. All right, how did you do? We did some good stuff to strengthen the two main muscle groups that stabilize the SI joints today. So finally, let's end on our back. So just gently roll yourself up and off of the bolster. Take the opportunity right now to move the bolster. Don't worry about where the strap is. Just move the bolster out of the way. Move the yoga block out of the way. Lay down on your side. Roll yourself over onto your back. As you're making your way onto your back, let yourself do a couple of tucks and a couple of tilts through your pelvis. Feel how that feels right now. When does it feel more open? Does it feel less painful? You definitely have more strength through there. And then find that happy place smack dab in the middle of that pelvis where it feels like that sacrum is nicely resting on the floor. Lengthen your neck, settle your chin. And then in this position, take your right knee up to your chest, hands around the shin bone. Deep inhale in, and then as you exhale, pull that knee into your chest. Then with the left leg, take a nice deep inhale, straighten that leg out, and as you exhale, lower that leg to the floor. Back to that right leg, nice deep inhale here. And then as you exhale, pull that knee into the chest. First time we've done any end range, flexion or extension here at the end of class after we've strengthened those muscles. So now in this position, just take a deep, slow inhale into your belly and exhale out. One more time, deep, slow inhale into the belly and exhale out. Then on the inhale, slide the left leg up. And then on the exhale, relax the right foot to the floor. Take an inhale, bring the left knee to the chest, and then on the exhale, pull that knee into your chest. Then on an inhale, straighten that right leg out, and on the exhale, drop that leg down onto the yoga mat. Nice deep inhale here. Exhale, pulling that knee into the chest. Now, in this position, deep inhale into the belly and exhale out. Deep inhale in and exhale out. Then on an inhale, slide the right leg up. On an exhale, relax the left knee down to the floor. Right knee to your chest. This time, bring the hands to the underside of the knee. Take an inhale, and on the exhale, pull the knee into the chest. Just keep your left knee bent. But for those of you, when we did all that lovely bridging, that you may have overused your hamstrings, let's give them a little bit of length right here. So take the right toes, point them up, lengthen the neck, settle the chin. Take an inhale and straighten through that right knee. Then as you exhale, gently bend it. Try to keep the knee to the chest if you can. That way you're focusing just on the posterior thigh, toes up. Add sciatic nerve for me. Inhale, straighten. exhale, relax. One final time on this side, toes up, inhale, straighten, and exhale and relax. You got it. Slowly lower the right knee to the floor and then take the left knee to the chest, but take the hands to the underside of the knee. And once you have yourself there, let the right knee stay resting bent today. Lengthen the neck, settle the chin, take a deep inhale. Exhale, pull the knee nice and close into the chest. Now, toes, point them up towards the ceiling. Take an inhale, gently straighten through that knee. And then as you exhale, relax. 2 more times. Toes up, inhale, straighten, and exhale and relax. One final time. Toes up, inhale, straighten, and exhale and relax. You've got it. Now, keep the left knee to the chest. Slowly bring the right knee to the chest. Spinal twist. To end our class, a normal spinal twist may and can irritate the SI joint because of the amount of torsional forces you put into it. So today what we're going to do is we're going to do a modification of spinal twist with the legs staying together so that those SI joints don't get any stress of torsion or rotation. So gently squeeze your knees together, keep your feet together, take your right hand to the outside of your left knee, take your left hand out to the side of your body. Take a nice deep inhale, and on the exhale, keeping the knees together, slowly lower your legs to the right side. Shoulder blade on the left side, try to keep it onto the floor. Lengthen your neck, settle your chin, and gently turn your gaze towards the left. Take a nice deep inhale here. And exhale out. One more nice, slow, deep inhale in. And exhale out. Now, slowly unrotate the head back to the center. Give yourself this great opportunity to strengthen through your back and your pelvis here. So squeeze and keep your knees and your feet together. Start at that left shoulder blade and use all of your obliques, all of your spinal muscles, and slowly unrotate yourself back to that upright position. And then once you're there, left hand to the outside of the right knee, right hand out to the side of the body. Take a nice deep inhale in, and keeping the knees together as you exhale, rotate the body to the left, or the knees to the left. Keeping the right shoulder blade on the floor. Lengthening the neck, settling the chin, turning the head towards the right. All right, nice deep inhale into the belly here. And exhaling out. Slow, deep inhale in. And exhale out. And then gently unrotating the head. Lifting the knees and maybe supporting them a little bit. And then squeezing through the knees. Contracting and really bracing through the abdominals. Really try to unrotate yourself. Getting those abdominals, those obliques, those spinal muscles to all work together to bring those knees back upright. Hands around the knees. Gently bring the knees back to hip distance apart. Deep inhale in. Exhale, pull your knees to your chest. And then very slowly, one leg at a time, slide the feet down onto the floor and then slide the legs down onto the mat. Once the legs are gently down, resting on the mat, relax through the pelvis, relax through the abdomen. Roll those shoulder blades underneath you, relax through the arms, lengthen the neck, settle the chin, tongue to the roof of the mouth, close the eyes. 2 SI or sacroiliac joints. Our focus today, purely on stability. How can we make our pelvis stronger? Every step we take, we use those joints. Every bit of load we put on our body, we use those joints. Take a slow, deep inhale into your belly. And exhale out. Wiggle your fingers and your toes and circles with your wrists and your ankles. And then one leg at a time, slide those legs up. And then very slowly roll yourself to your left or your right side. Rest there for a moment, maybe a breath or two. And then when you feel like you're ready, using that bottom elbow and the top hand on an exhale, push yourself up into a seated position. Finding yourself in the center of the mat. Now, try not to go into full easy pose today. Go into a gentle softening of staff pose. So your legs can be crossed, your legs can be straight. You pick which one you want to do, but let's end not challenging that SI joint. I'm going to softly bend my knees. Hands to the center of the heart. Smiles on our faces. Take a nice deep inhale in and exhale out. Namaste. The highest in me salutes the highest in you. Thank you for joining me today.